Hello dear friends. Today we have at least the last video about Ukrainian history. I think some months ago I started with parallels. I come through the medieval time, through the Cossack time, 19th century, and at least we have 20th century. Such kind of lectures, videos were very useful for me because I improve my English, I improve my public speaking, and I got many answers to the question that I was curious in. I listen many lectures, video of professional historian who I didn't hear before. You know, that's the last period of Ukrainian history, this one that we have now, it's really complicated because probably it needs time to understand it and to understand what happened during the last time. You know that 7 years ago we have so-called Maidan. Different kind of people took part in this event. Many people supported. There were normal people who are mostly not active during the ordinary life, but they became active, and also there were radical nationalists who take part in the daily Ukrainian life. I also had some participation in this event, and till now I have many questions. What happened? Who were all these people, and where we go at least? So today I'd like to present you this man. He is from US, but he considers himself as Ukrainian because his family are Ukrainian immigrants. This is Professor Grigori Rabowski. He was born and worked in US. He is the doctor of philosophy, and he for a long time he had it, I don't know if he had it till now, the Department of Ukrainian department in the Harvard University. Yes, even in Harvard we have cathedra of Ukrainian cathedra. This Ukrainian institute was established in 1960s in the time of Cold War, when it was Cold War between Soviet state and US, and of course the USSR support Ukrainians, support people who fight against Soviet Union, who support them against Soviet Union. So this institute, Ukrainian Institute in Harvard, was established by members of Ukrainian immigrants, by students from families of Ukrainian immigrants. Many Ukrainians who lived in the USSR gave money, support it, and that is why we have it still now. Professor Grigori Rabowski, he is really great as a researcher, and the main topic of his research is the life of Taras Shevchenko, Ukrainian poet. He make research about Taras Shevchenko not only as about poet. He was also artist, he also was writer. So he tried to discover him from the different aspects of his life. About some years ago, Professor Grigori Rabowski became known widely in Ukraine because of one fact. In that time, he was nominated to Shevchenko National Prize. Shevchenko National Prize is a special prize given to the extraordinary people who put their knowledge, that's people who do something for Ukraine, and it's very prestigious. It's given to the writers, to the poets, to the historians, patriots. But Ukrainian nationalists, radical nationalists, accuse him in anti-Ukrainian position. They accuse that he presents Shevchenko not in a right way. So nationalists sent a letter to the Ministry of the Education, I think, and asked them, don't do national prize to this man. That is why he became known among many journalists. He gave many interviews to journalists and explained what happened, why he was accused in this. Actually, these nationalists, they even didn't read his books. By the way, his books are in Ukraine and in the USSR, you can read them. They just accuse him because his position was different from their position. First of all, he pointed that till now Ukrainians have Soviet thinking, Soviet mind, standard mind that doesn't accept any other point of view. He noticed that we should be more open, more flexible, and have ability to accept other point of view. We need to travel, at least travel to Western Europe, to the US, to see that world is different. World is not like that. US is not like Soviet states try to present to us. I remember about 8 years ago, after my student life, I and my friend visited Europe for the first time, Western Europe. We travel by hitchhike, by different transport, very economical budget. It was budget trip for students. And in Poland, we met so many cheerful people. We just stay on the road and try to stop automobile, and they stop at least after 5 minutes of staying on the road. And people were so cheerful. They were curious about us. They were proud that we are Ukrainians, and they call us brother. And in that time, I understand that Polish are not the same as Soviet state tried to demonstrate us. According to the Soviet interpretation, Polish are rich and greedy and somebody who treat Ukrainian badly. But we have seen that it's different, totally different, and the same was my opinion in Spain about people there. That people just live there, and there are different kind of people. There are not rich Europe or rich US as we were thinking before. So I think that this is really good that Ukrainians go for the work abroad, they go to the Western Europe. Of course, they work very hard, but they can see what, they can understand what is there, and after they come back here and organize their life as they have seen in Western Europe. Many Ukrainians, many kids started to study in Poland, in different countries, especially in Poland, because Poland gave more freedom, more right to Ukrainians to study there, to work there in Poland. The second point that this professor noticed about this is about, first of all, that Ukraine so long time was under the pressure of the empire, especially Russian Empire. First it was Russian Empire, and after it was Soviet Union. That is why we lost our ability to see our unique, specific of our culture. We lose the ability to respect our culture, our Ukrainian culture, yes, and that's till now many Ukrainians don't appreciate by their culture, by their motherland. They try to go somewhere and so on. And even in 1919, when we got Ukrainian independent state, all the time historians, especially at school, they pointed that Ukraine always suffered. That's during the Stalin time we had Holodomor, we had many battles where we lost. We had Ukrainian uprising in 1917, but we lost the state, and they show that we always loser. But it's not really true, because you see that Ukrainian history is really very different. For many time we fought for our independence. For many time many Ukrainians present that Ukrainian culture is bright, that we should respect it. Especially such kind of man was Taras Shevchenko, Ukrainian poet, who was from his childhood he was totally poor. He lived in the village, he depended on the nobleman, but regard to his talent, he came to the St. Petersburg. He got friends between the best Russian artists. For example, he studied painting in one of the artists of Karl Brylov. This is a Russian artist. But Shevchenko was very interesting figure because he not only care about himself, he also care about his country. He could have a good life in Petersburg, he was free, but all the time he was very caring about Ukraine, about its people, about its life. That is why during the day he painted portraits of the Russian nobles, but during the night he wrote Kobzar, poems about Ukraine, about Ukrainian life. So that is why for the long time after people remember him, and he became like the main person of Ukrainian history, one of the main person of Ukrainian history, the main hero, or I don't know, the father of Ukraine, spirit father, I think. What we need to do, this professor, Grigori Rabowski, tell that of course, we need changing. For example, first of all, we need to change our political elite, because our politicians came from the Soviet time, and their kind of thinking is stereotypes, is Soviet. We need to totally change the political generation. He noted, for example, that the progressive society of the other countries, they had young generation, not the old one. Yes, and he pointed that we need to accept different kind of view, not only tell that Ukraine is the best country and don't accept other point of views. That we need to be flexible, as I told before. What, for example, what was surprise for me, and what I think is we need to be proud of. You know, that for the long time Ukraine was separate between Russian Empire and Austro-Hungary or Poland. But all the time Western Ukrainians were more progressive. They kept more patriotical feelings in their minds. That is why so many Western Ukrainian men stay on the Maidan, in the Euromaidan 7 years ago. They came here, they changed each other. And I remember one events what happened after Maidan. I remember the day when the Russia announced the war against Ukraine, and the speaker on the Maidan told about this. We were walking along the Maidan, and we treated people with tea, people who stay on the barricades. And I have seen in internet that there is the news that the NATO military aircraft approach Ukrainian borders, and NATO militaries going to occupy Western Ukraine or something like this. It was fake news, but I share it with one of the men who stayed there, one of the men who was from Western Ukraine, and what he told that we need to go to our home, we need to go to the Western Ukraine to fight against NATO. So these people, they are ready to fight against any force that's tried to conquer Ukraine. It's not only Russia, but also with other states. No matter, they have deep point of the Ukraine in their minds. So as a review to my this big course of the Ukrainian history, I would like to tell that Ukrainians are very surviving nation. Ukrainians are very revival. All the time that's it seems that we disappear in front of the empire. Ukrainians always revive and started the history again. It's our big quality. So we need just to make it's not only big revolution, but also thinking how we can change something, not just in the revolutionary way, but also in peaceful way, in the way of the reform. So thank you for watching me. I am happy that we have such kind of people as Professor Rabowski and many light mind people that show us who we are and where we go. So for now, goodbye.
See you.